It was a cloudy one today. So today's Monday, and I didn't post anything yesterday. And part of that was by design, part of that is, you know, a happy coincidence, I guess. I think, I'm not a religious person. Although, I do find some things super interesting. Where I asked ChatGPT a while ago, I said, how many atoms in your body are hydrogen? Because, you've heard the statistic that, you're 70% water. Water is 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. And then there's plenty of hydrogen in other things too. Organic molecules with chains of carbon. Usually the default is, it attaches to a hydrogen as a terminator. And at this point I've already forgotten what the number was, but it was like 70%, something like that. So 70% of your body's atoms, the atomic particles that make up you, are hydrogen. And the interesting thing about that, to me anyway, is that hydrogen was basically created when the universe was formed. There's, according to the models anyway, there's the Big Bang, there's huge amounts of energy, and then shortly thereafter, the universe expanded and cooled enough for atoms to form. Shortly in the grand grand time scale kind of sense anyway. So, but one of the first things to form was hydrogen. So the hydrogen that's in me, that's in you, that's in all the things around us, is, from the Big Bang, essentially. And, there's that famous Carl Sagan quote, we're all made of star stuff. It's like, it's not even star stuff. It's the things that made up stars, eventually, are the things that make up us. And then, that last 30% is the star stuff that comes from, runaway fusion and supernova and all that kind of stuff. But mostly we're just different arrangements of the things that started the universe. What's his name? Brian Cox. He's one of these physicist, popular media guys. He has a line about how, we are what happens when the universe wants to observe itself. And, that's literally true. So it's interesting stuff. But all that is to say, I find that super interesting. I find quantum entanglement really interesting. But I'm not religious in the sense of a personality worship kind of thing. However, I do think, taking a day of rest is super important. And so, I try to take mine on sometime on the weekend. I'm not really strict if it's Saturday or Sunday, but just the way my life is structured, it usually ends up being Sunday. And not even every Sunday, although I wish it were. But Saturday, you're taking the kids around doing stuff. And Sunday, we didn't have anything scheduled, so I was able to just, rest. And, it wasn't even what I would call a good rest. Because, I didn't sleep well Saturday night. Didn't sleep well Sunday night either. But, we do with what we can. I wear a Whoop monitor, and ever since I've been doing, these morning recordings and getting out into the sunlight, it's had a positive impact on my sleep. So, I think last time I looked, it was like plus 6% impact. So that's, pretty decent. I've been falling asleep a lot easier, which is good. I still take plenty of drugs. I take melatonin, and I take magnesium and L-theanine, and I'm actually out of the what's the name of it? It's an extract from chamomile. Anyway, it's the Huberman stack. He says do that instead of melatonin, and I have not found that to be as effective. So I take both. But ever since I had COVID, I had major sleep trouble, which is not great. But doing all the things. You know, saw the doctors. Doctor put me on Ambien for a while. That didn't do anything, really. It didn't change. Got me to sleep, but it didn't keep me asleep, which is my issue. So, yeah, I continued to try and adapt and all that kind of stuff. And amazingly, the chickens have not knocked over their food yet. You know. So yeah, you know, they used to be, you know, at liberty feeding, but then, you know, they were overeating, so rationing it out now. But you know, the container's smaller and they can knock it over. So I had a hanging container for a while, but then I think they ripped it down. Maybe it's time to go back to that. I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, you know, rest is super important. And I think, you know, taking one day a week is a good idea. Whether it's Saturday or Sunday or Tuesday, it doesn't really matter. But it's important to rest and recharge. You know, I was talking about, you know, maintenance, you know, fighting off entropy. And, you know, part of that is just not stressing the system sometimes. And that applies to everything, just like everything else. All right, I think that's it for today. We'll see what tomorrow brings.